Hey everyone, welcome back to SHIVASTRA. In today's video, we will be covering the Block 2, Block 3 and Block 4 of BEGE 142 Understanding Drama. Block 2, Arthur Miller, All My Sons. Block 3, Mohan Rakesh, Halfway House. Block 4, Ngũgĩ Thiong'o, The Trial of Dedan Kimathi. Don't worry, Block 1 is on its way and will be uploaded very soon today. So without wasting time, let's get started with All My Sons' character in detail. Character sketch of Anne Deaver. Anne Deaver is a smart, strong, and honest young woman. She is the daughter of Steve Deaver, who was Joe Keller's business partner. Steve is in jail because of the faulty airplane parts that caused the death of 21 pilots during the war. Anne used to be Larry Keller's girlfriend, Joe's elder son. But after Larry went missing in the war, she slowly moved on. Now she wants to marry Chris Keller, Larry's younger brother. This creates tension in the Keller family, especially with Kate, Larry's mother, who still believes Larry is alive. Anne is a symbol of truth and change in the play. She wants to live in the present, not the past. She loves Chris and wants to start a new life with him. Anne also brings Larry's letter to show the truth, that Larry knew about his father's crime and that he took his own life out of shame. She is calm but firm and she plays an important role in revealing the truth in the play. She helps the characters and the audience see the importance of honesty and taking responsibility. Character sketch of Chris Keller. Chris Keller is the younger son of Joe and Kate Keller. He is an honest, kind, and idealistic young man. He served in the army during the World War II and saw many of his friends die in the war. Because of this, he believes in truth, responsibility, and doing the right thing. Chris wants to marry Anne Deaver, who was once his brother Larry's girlfriend. He truly loves her, wants to move forward in life, but his mother Kate refuses to accept that Larry is dead, which creates a conflict. Chris is shocked and heartbroken when he finds out that his father, Joe Keller, was responsible for the death of 21 pilots by allowing faulty airplane parts to be shipped. He feels deeply hurt because he always believed his father was a good and honest man. Christ represents the younger generation that wants to live with honesty and take responsibility. Even though he loves his father, he cannot accept the wrong things he has done. He wants justice and truth, and even if it's painful. Joe Keller as a hero in All My Sons. So Joe Keller is a central character in All My Sons. He is an ordinary man, businessman, father, and someone who loved deeply his family. Many people see him as a tragic hero, someone who makes a big mistake but not a completely bad. So, why Joe Keller can be called a hero? He was hardworking and successful, loving father and husband, good intentions but wrong action, tragic realization, feels deep guilt and regret. So, hence, conclusion Joe Keller is not a perfect man. He made a big mistake, but he is not evil. He loved his family but ignored his duty to society. That's why he is a tragic hero, a good man who falls because of a serious error in judgment. His story teaches about responsibility, guilt, and moral choices. We are going to read All My Sons by Arthur Miller. Genre is tragedy drama. It is written in 1947. It is set in post-World War II America. Introduction. All My Sons is a powerful play written by Arthur Miller. It is a family drama mixed with tragedy focused on truth, guilt, responsibility, and morality. The story takes place just after World War II, in the backyard of the Keller family. The main conflict is about the wrong decisions made during the war and how they affect the lives of innocent people. Arthur Miller used the story to show how one personal selfish action can harm any others. The play is based on a true story that Miller read in a newspaper about a war-related crime. He wanted to show that people must take responsibility not only for their families but also for the larger society. Main characters of this chapter are Joe Keller, a businessman and father. He owns a factory that made airplane parts during the war. Kate Keller is Joe's wife. She refuses to believe that her son Larry is dead. Chris Keller, their son, he wants to marry Anne, who was Larry's girlfriend. Anne Deaver, Larry's former fiancée, now in love with Chris. George Deaver, Anne's brother. He comes back angry after learning the truth about his father's jailing. Steve Deaver, Anne and Joe's former business partner who is in jail. So let's discuss the All My Son full act-wise detailed summary. In this play, we have 3 acts. Act 1, the calm before the storm. Setting is the entire play takes place in the backyard of the Joe Keller house somewhere in America in August after World War II. It is a quite normal looking home, but secrets are buried deep inside. Main character introduced are Joe Keller, Kate Keller, Chris Keller, Anne Dewar, Dr. Jim Bayless and Sue Bayless, Frank Lube. What happens actually? The play begins with the news that a tree planted in the memory of Larry, Joe and Kate's missing son has fallen during the night storm. This tree falling is a symbolic, like a sign from nature that something hidden is about to be revealed. Kate Keller is still living in Daniel, even though it has been over 3 years since Larry disappeared during the war. She still believes that he is alive and will return one day. She says she had a dream about him the night the tree fell, which is why she believes it's a sign. Chris Keller, on the other hand, has accepted that Larry is gone. He is now in love with Anne Dewar, Larry's old girlfriend, and wants to marry her, and is visiting their house because Christ called her. Anne also loves Christ, but both know that Kate will not accept their marriage because for Kate, that would mean accepting that Larry is dead. We also learn that Anne's father, Steve Dewar, is in prison. He used to be Joe Keller's business partner during the war. Cracked airplane cylinder head was shipped from their factory to the military. This led to the crash and death of 21 pilots. Steve was arrested and found guilty, while Joe was cleared of all charges because he said he was sick that day and not at the factory. Anne has cut all ties with her father as she believes he was guilty and caused those deaths. But the truth behind the story is unclear, and it will be hard for the whole drama. The act ends with the tension rising as George Dewar, Anne's brother, calls and says he is coming to visit after just seeing their father in jail. He seems upset and emotional. Everyone gets nervous, especially Joe and Kate. Act 2, Truth Comes Knocking. Setting is in the same backyard later in the day. New characters are George Dewar. He is Anne's brother, a lawyer who has just returned from seeing his father in prison. What happened actually in the Act 2? George Dewar arrives. He has just visited his father Steve in jail, and now he believes Steve is innocent and Joe is the real guilty one. He tells Anne not to marry Chris and to come back home with him. He also speaks angrily to Joe and Kate. While speaking with Kate, George starts noticing some strange thing. Kate says something by accident that makes it sound like Joe was not sick on the day the broken parts were shipped. This contradicts Joe's official story. Then Chris enters and George leaves angrily. Chris is upset that George tried to interfere in their lives, but now Chris starts asking questions to Joe. Slowly the truth starts coming out. Joe finally admits to Chris that he told Steve to send out the crack part. He said that he did it to save the business, thinking that the army would inspect the parts before using them, but the parts were not inspected and 21 pilots dead. Joe tells Chris, I did it for you, for the family, but Chris is horrified. For Chris, this is not just about the business, it's about morality and responsibility. He tells Joe that he should have thought of those dead pilots as his own sons. They were all my sons, Chris says. These words are the heart of the play. Chris leaves heartbroken. His image of his father has been destroyed. He had believed Joe to be an honest, good man. Now he sees that his father's greed and cowardice led to death and lies. The act ends with Joe sitting alone, worried and broken. Act 3 is about the price of truth. Setting is in the same place late at night. What happens? Kate and Joe are sitting quietly, waiting for Chris to return. Joe doesn't fully understand why Chris is so angry. Joe keeps saying that he only did what any father would do. He did it for the family. Anne is angry too. She wants the truth to come out. She gives Kate a letter that Larry wrote to her on the day he went on his final flight. In the letter, Larry says that he is going to crash his plane intentionally and kill himself because he found out what his father Joe had done. Larry felt so ashamed of his father's crime that he chose to die. This letter proved that Larry is dead and that Joe's action caused his son's suicide. Chris comes home. He now wants Joe to return himself in. Joe is shocked by Larry's letter. At first he refuses, but slowly he realizes that he is truly responsible not just for the 21 dead pilots, but also for his own son's death. He says, I think to him, they were all my sons, finally understanding the deep truth. But instead of going to the police, Joe goes inside the house and shoots himself. The play ends with Kate telling Chris not to feel guilty. Forget now, live.
Themes in all my sons are responsibility, guilt, Daniel, the American dream, truth, justice, betrayal, family, war and its effects, idealism versus practical thinking, and the last one is hope and despair. So these are 11 themes which is very important in this drama. So if you like this video, then please subscribe and share with all your friends.
We are going to read The Halfway House Aadhe Adhure, which is written by the Mohan Rakesh. The play Halfway House, originally titled Aadhe Adhure, is a modern Hindi drama written by Mohan Rakesh. It focuses on the life of a middle-class woman named Savitri and her broken family. The play shows the emotional struggles, misunderstanding, and the identity crisis faced by each member of the family. It is divided into two acts. Here is the summary of Act 1 and Act 2 in simple and easy words. Author Mohan Rakesh, original language is Hindi, English translation Bindu Batra, first published 1969 in Hindi, English edition 1999, structures Prologue, Act 1, Act 2. Characters are Savitri, she is the main character, a strong, practical, and frustrated woman. She is unhappy in her marriage and looks for support in other men. Mahendranath, Savitri's husband, he is jobless, weak, and depends on Savitri for everything. Binni, their elder daughter, she is married to Manoj but comes back home after problem in her married life. Kini, younger daughter of Savitri, she is modern, rebellious, and often speaks sarcastically. Ashok, Savitri's son, he is angry, confused, and struggling to find a job or purpose in life. Juneja, Mahendranath's old friend, he was Savitri's former lover. He still seems to care for her. Singhania, Savitri's current boss, she depends on him for job and some emotional support too. Jagmohan, Savitri's current secret lover, she sees him as a possible escape from her unhappy life. Manoj, Binny's husband, there are hints that Savitri may have led some past romantic interest in him too, but now she dislikes him. Prologue is the play begins with a mysterious man wearing a black suit. He speaks directly to the audience. He acts like a modern Sutradhar, narrator or guide, but he doesn't clearly say who it is. He says that he will play different role in the play, like the husband, the boss, the lover, or a friend. This means that all men in society are similar. They wear different masks but face the same problem. He also says that the story is incomplete, just like the title Halfway House. It shows how people in modern life feel confused, lost, and broken inside. They are trying to find meaning but can't fully reach it. They are stuck halfway. Aspect and symbolism, like his black suit, symbol of today's world, cold, modern, and without feelings. His unclear identity means show how people today are confused about who they really are, playing all role, like men in society keep doing the same thing again and again. Incomplete self, all people feel something missing or empty inside. Talking to audience, it means he wants us, like the audience, to think about our own lives too. Here's the Act 1. The play Halfway House, originally Aadhe Adhure by Mohan Rakesh, began in a small middle-class house in a city. The story centers around Savitri, a strong but unhappy woman. She is the one who runs the house because her husband Mahendranath is jobless and doesn't take responsibility. Savitri works in an office and manages the household financially and emotionally. But despite all her efforts, she is always angry, disappointed, and frustrated with the people around her. Her husband had 3 children. The house they live in is messy and uncomfortable, which shows how disorganized and broken their family life is. Savitri's husband Mahendranath is quite calm and soft-spoken, but he is emotionally weak and never tries to take charge of the family or improve their situation. He just sits silently, not reacting to anything. This makes Savitri even more upset because she feels like she is alone in handling everything. She keeps insulting him and blaming him for the problem in their lives. She sees him as a useless, just like piece of furniture that no one needs but can throw away. They have 3 children. Binny is the oldest daughter who is married to a named man Manoj, but she has returned to her parents' house after a fight with her husband. Savitri is unhappy about this and feels like her daughter has followed the same path of failure as her. She feels ashamed and blames Mahendranath for not being a strong role model or support system. The second child is Ashok, their son. He is jobless, angry, and very confused about life. He does not like talking to his mother and feel ignored by her. He spent his time being bitter and frustrated. The youngest child is Kinney, a teenage daughter who is modern, sarcastic, and speaks rudely to everyone. She doesn't respect her parents and openly mocks them. She feels ashamed of being poor and thinks their life is boring and meaningless. Savitri wants everything to be perfect, but her life is full of problems. She tries to find peace and support in other people. She talks to her boss, Mrs. Singhania, who may be more than just a professional contact, maybe someone she is emotionally involved with. She also contacts Juneja, an old lover who was once her husband's friend. These conversations shows that Savitri is trying to fill the emotional emptiness in her life by connecting with other men. But she doesn't get true love or care from anyone. Everyone seems selfish or distant. In Act 1, Savitri invites her boss Singhania to the house to help Ashok get a job. But instead of solving problems, this only leads to more tension. Mahendranath feels insulted that his wife is asking another man for help, and he quietly leaves the house. After that, Binny shares her feeling and says that her marriage failed because long relationships often become boring and meaningless. Ashok argues with his mother and shows his anger. Can he continue to make sarcastic comments in the end of Act 1? Savitri feels hopeless and says that from now on she will live only for herself and stop caring about others. In Act 2, deeper problems in the family are revealed. It becomes clear that Savitri is not as strong as perfect as she appears through the she often blames her husband Mahendranath. The play hints that she too has made many mistakes. Her past relationship with men like Janeja, Mohan, and even possibly Manoj, Binny's husband, show that she was also searching for love and emotional support outside her marriage but failed to find it. The next morning, the household is filled with tension. Mahendranath has still not returned and is staying at Janeja's house, which shows he is avoiding his responsibility. Savitri, who was shouting and angry before, is now cold and distant. Her silence speaks of emotional exhaustion. The children are also affected. Kinney returned from school crying after an embarrassing incident, feeling neglected and unloved. Ashok continued to be angry and confused while Benny remains unhappy and stuck. One symbolic moment is when Savitri looks in the mirror and breaks her necklace. This powerful act shows her desire to break free from her roles as wife, mother, and employee. She wants to escape the life that has trapped her. When Mohan, an old friend and perhaps the current lover, visits, Savitri greets him warmly and calls him Joke, showing their closeness. Kenny noticed this and confronts her mother, saying that no matter how much she tries to move on, she cannot run away from her family and past. Later, Juneja attempts to reunite Mahendranath and Savitri, but the conversation between them only reveals the deep crack in their relationship. Savitri accuses Mahendranath of being gentle with a stranger and but cruel and careless at home. She also expresses frustration over how women are always expected to adjust in marriage while men escape blame. The final moments of the play are marked by neighbors gossiping about the family. This shows how private pain often becomes public in modern society. Savitri reached a point of the emotional collapse. She realizes that all men she relied on were essentially the same. None of them offered the true support or happiness. Her children too are lost, confused, and emotionally broken. The play closes with a sense of unresolved pain and sadness. No character finds a clear solution or peace. Each person is trapped in their own confusion and emptiness. They all seem stuck in the middle of life, not fully broken but not truly whole either. This captures the central theme of the play, as the title Halfway House suggests. Everyone is incomplete, still searching for the meaning, identity, and happiness, yet unable to reach it. Conclusion. The play Halfway House gives a strong message about the struggle of the middle class family in modern society. It shows how women like Savitri are expected to handle everything home, work, children without any help. She works hard but gets no respect or love from her husband or family. This reflects the condition of many women today. The play highlights the emotional distance in family. People give together, but they do not understand or support each other. There is no real communication. Everyone is tired, frustrated, and stuck. In the end, the play does not give a happy or perfect solution. Instead, it makes us think deeply. It shows that without love, respect, and understanding, family can break from the inside. The message is clear. We must change the way we treat each other at home. Here's the most important exam question and answers. Number one, discuss the male as a victim of the society of his time with reference to the halfway house. Discuss the woman perspective in halfway house. What is the role of family in the life of a middle class woman in our times? Discuss with the reference to the Mohan Rakesh halfway house. House patriarchy reflected in Mohan Rakesh halfway house. Discuss the ending of the play halfway house. There is the rhythmic, okay, to write the critical note on Savitri in a halfway house. So here, Har Har Mahadev, thank you very much for watching till the end. I hope you all get the summary. I will provide the PDF in the description, then you can check it from there. We are going to read The Trial of Dedan Kimathi by Ngũgĩ wa Thiong'o and Mr. Githai. Genre: political drama and play. Setting is British colonized Kenya, 1950s. Main theme: fight for freedom, justice, and resistance against colonial oppression. Introduction: The Trial of Dedan Kimathi is a powerful political play written by Ngũgĩ wa Thiong'o and Mr. Githai. It is based on the real-life trial of Dedan Kimathi, a Kenyan freedom fighter who led the Mau Mau movement against British colonial rule in the 1950s. The play is divided into 3 movements instead of traditional acts and scene. It highlights how the British colonial system tried to silence the Kenyan fight for freedom, and how Kimathi stood strong as a symbol of resistance and hope. This play is not just about one man's trial, it represents the struggle of an entire nation against slavery, injustice, and foreign control. Kimathi's courage and unbreakable spirit inspire people to stand up for their rights no matter how hard the journey is. Body: the 3 movements. First movement: the courtroom begins. The play opens in a British colonial courtroom. Kimathi is brought in chains. He is accused of carrying a gun and being a threat to the British government. But Kimathi refuses to accept the authority of the British court. He says that it is not he who is guilty, but the British who are guilty of stealing land, freedom, and peace from Africans. He boldly refuses to plead guilty and says that he will not ask for mercy. The judge, lawyers, and police are all shown up as puppets of the British system. This movement shows that Kimathi is not afraid to speak the truth, even in front of powerful enemies. Second movement: the tests and temptations. In this part, the British try several tricks to make Kimathi change his mind. They send different people to confuse, scare, and tempt him, like a wealthy businessman, a Christian priest, and even an old friend. They offer him money, a good life, peace, if he agrees to stop fighting and accept British rule. But Kimathi rejects all of them. He says that his fight is not for personal gain, but for the future of his country and people. He knows that if he gave up, the struggle will be lost. This movement shows how long, strong, and loyal he is to the cause. He chooses truth over comfort. Third movement: people's support and final judgment. In this final part, we see that the common people believe in Kimathi. A woman and a boy try to help him escape, and they represent the spirit of resistance. In ordinary people inside the courtroom, Kimathi is finally sentenced to death, but he remains calm and fearless. He says that even if the British kill him, they cannot kill his ideas and belief. He says that more people will rise and continue the fight. This ending is not just sad, it gives hope. It shows that freedom can never be fully crushed and true leaders never die in hearts of people. In the end, we talk about the conclusion. The trial of Dedan Kimathi ends not with a legal victory but with a moral and historical triumph. Although Kimathi is executed, his steadfast refusal to betray his people transformed him into a symbol of national pride. His sacrifice became a beacon for a future generation, fostering Kenyan unity and eventual independence. The trial of Dedan Kimathi is more than a courtroom drama. It is a powerful call for freedom and national pride. It shows how one person, through his truth, courage, and sacrifice, can become a symbol of hope and inspiration for an entire country. Kimathi's refusal to bow down to British pressure and his belief in his people make him a true hero. The play ends with a message that freedom may be delayed but not denied, and that revolution will rise from the people. This play teaches us that standing for truth and justice is never easy, but those who dare to stand alone will never be forgotten. Here I provide the 4 most important questions related to this chapter. First is comment on the broad movement in the structure of the trial of Dedan Kimathi. Here the introduction, first, second, and third movement you are comfortable with. And next question is comment on the concept of time in the trial of Dedan Kimathi. Here the answer. And the third question is correct sketch of Dedan Kimathi for 20 marks answer. Okay, so here the correct sketch. And the key points to remember: this mnemonic sentence using the first letter, like leader of the Mau Mau movement in Kenya. So lions, leader as lions,
fight as fear, brave as but, never is never, refused and run, inspires in battles, dare believe, like this. And next question is, what fuel the justice system emerged from the exchange between the judge and the Dedan Kimathi? These all questions are the previous year questions. And the most important thing is you must know the themes in the trial of Dedan Kimathi in simple words. Okay, so I provide the themes in just a simple word: struggle for freedom, colonial injustice, heroism and sacrifice, hope and resistance, unity of the common people, role of women in the freedom struggle, truth versus lies, power of memory and history, political awareness through art. And easy trick to remember this, I also provide the mnemonic: freedom, colonial injustice, heroism, hope, unity, role of women, truth, past, and political art. So I hope if you like the video, then you can please like and share.
So that's all for the today's video. We have covered the block 2, 3 and 4. I will be uploading the block 1 very soon today, so stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already. All the best for your exams and I will see you in the next one. Take care and keep learning with Shivastra. Har Har Mahadev.